ESPN, you are stuck. You're stuck, and I can't believe you're stuck with Stephen A. Smith. That's all you got. I mean, you arrogantly got rid of guys like Brad Nessler. You arrogantly didn't even renegotiate with Mike Tirico. Now, I understand those guys are play-by-play announcers, and Stephen A. Smith is a hot take guy, but you let guys like Bill Simmons, Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, even Keith Olbermann, the crazy Keith Olbermann, the pre-90s derangement Keith Olbermann, you let them all go. Hell, you let Dakich go, and that was the best you had, at least according to the bosses there in college basketball. But, hey, I get it, man. You guys don't care, and what are you left with? You're left with, oh, boy, I can't believe I'm going to say this. You're going to have to pay Stephen A. Smith 5 years, somewhere around $100 million to do what? Yell, scream, works pretty hard. By all accounts, pretty easy to work with, but that's all you're left with. I remember sitting having a whiskey, having a doers in the back seat. We had a driver taking us back when Brad Nessler, the best football play-by-play guy in the business, and I had just done his last event, the slam dunk contest at ESPN. He held up a little flask, said, Double D, this is my last event. I said, you're kidding? He goes, yep, ESPN don't want me. I am off to, I think it was CBS. I remember our last supper with Mike Tirico, myself, Ellison Williams, Bart Fox, Scott Johnson, our producer, our director. Mike Tirico in Iowa City, holding up a glass. ESPN didn't want to negotiate with Tirico. Go away. Go wherever you need to go. We're ESPNN. Cowherd, gone. Simmons, gone. Patrick, gone. Man, what are you left with? Well, you are left with Mina Kimes, Sarah Spain, crazy-ass Maria Taylor, who eventually left. So you have spent the last decade, ESPN, promoting the likes of Bomani Jones. Remember the big contract given to the latest it girl, the cool kid, Katie Nolan, Dan Lebitard, Mina Kimes, Maria Taylor, Sarah Spain? None of them were worth a damn. Not one. None. I mean, cute little personalities on Twitter. They say all the right things. All the little boys say, Mina Kimes really knows her football. She don't know her ass from third base. Wait, here's my ass. Is that third base? Please. She's a DEI hire, and the perfect DEI hire because she speaks millennial. She's got that little vibe, and she don't know shit, but she covers a bunch of bases. Woman, Asian, you know what I'm saying? It's perfect. That's what you are left with. Nolan, Jones, and Smith Jones, Nolan, and Spain were given shows. They were given shows. They were just, here it is. I'm giving you a show. Sarah Spain's show ran for a little bit, but it was at a time when literally nobody that has any self-respect would be on ESPN radio from 6 to 9. They gave Maria Taylor anything she wanted. I remember working with Maria Taylor. Nice lady. Too cool for school. You could tell one year to the next, but Maria Taylor really started feeling herself. And it was kind of funny. Taylor self-destructed. She was trying to ride the Black Lives Matter in 2020 for a bigger payday. Kimes is still there. Doesn't rate at all. Katie Nolan, who the hell knows where she is, probably trying to be the cool it girl somewhere with some sassy commentary. And big old floppies. Sarah Spain is still bitching, whining, and moaning that they won't give her another show instead of saying thank you to the executives at ESPN. Her slovenly ass got a little money, had a little show, got a little fame. She went from being in the corner at WMVP to getting a little bit of fame. But instead of saying thank you, what does she do? She rips the white dudes. And she got to call them dudes because that's what the cool kids do. Add in Lebitar, and you got nothing. Stephen A. Smith, you ought to appreciate what ESPN did for you. Your ass got fired as a radio host on a CBS radio station or one of them Fox radio stations. And next thing you know, Skip Bayless picked your ass up. And you've done a good job with it, but you ought to appreciate how bad others were. And I always wonder, like, how subversive were people inside that? Like, you can't bring a bunch of women and DEI hires together and think they're all going to move the bus in the same direction. You can't do it. I mean, we've seen it in the WNBA. It's all been exposed. You cannot do it. You have to have team people, company people. Say whatever you'd want about me, but I'm a team guy. 100% always have been, always will be. So Stephen A. Smith, you ought to appreciate knowing your successors are so utterly unimpressive and god-awful. Now, we did explain last year in the article that Bobby Barack wrote how ESPN's failure to create a new wave of star personalities led to the networking leasing a ready-made star in Pat McAfee. ESPN agreed to pay Pat upwards of $30 million a year. How about that? Now, as soon as you see that, what do you think Stephen A. is going to do? Oh, my God. If Smith leaves ESPN, think about this. ESPN is left with McAfee, and you got a bunch of dudes about as old as me. In fact, Wilbon and Kornheiser are older than me. Wilbon, Greenberg, Van Pelt, Kornheiser, bunch of old white dudes. Man, oh, man, is Stephen A. Smith in a good spot? Hey, man, you want me or you want a bunch of old white dudes? I know SVP is the cool kid, right? Please. Greeny is the nerdy, dorky, millennial, metrosexual, and the other two are old curmudgeons. But everybody other than Wilbon's a white dude. Who are you going to bring up? Who are you bringing in as a right-hander if Smith leaves and Smith knows it and Smith is really smart? Life is about timing, and Stephen A. Smith hit the jackpot. Had the company, according to Bobby, successfully invested in worthy talents, it wouldn't need to pay what he demands. And boy, is that true. They took the cool kid and had no idea what to do with any of them. Then they tried Le Batard, and every network affiliate said, yeah, we don't want it. Nah, get him out of here. And John Skipper, whatever John Skipper was doing, who was the boss at ESPN at the time, I don't know whether he was cross-dressing, cocaine. There's so many rumors about him. Who knows? But I know he was unceremoniously dumped as the head of ESPN. He took all these clowns to some network, and I hope the network's doing well. Simply put, ESPN prioritized diversity and PR over the interests of sports fans. They did. Oh, did they ever. Consequently, viewers who used to idolize ESPN pundits now despise them. This is true. And the trend continues today. Rather than investing in talents who love sports and appreciate their viewers, Laura Rutledge is no good. Matt Berry, really good. Frank Isola, really good. Jorge Sodano, a little fanboy. The network had decided to spend its resources elevating preachy, privileged brats like Monica McNutjob, Chinny Chimichanga, and, of course, the great Ryan Clark, who talks so earnestly. Ryan talks so earnestly. You got to have some brothers and sisters up there, baby. That's the ESPN way. And you know what? Stephen A. Smith's really smart. He knows there is no chance, none whatsoever, that Ryan Clark, Monica McNutjob, and, of course, Chimichanga are ever going to have any impact at the network other than their little niche. Hey, go on Get Up. Hey, go on this. Hey, go on that. Be a bit player. That's it. Smith's smart. Executives are dumb. All right, for the almighty ace card, which is still coming to play, ESPN's failure to build stars, promote the right people, is why Smith has all of the leverage. Man, oh man, they just got rid of everybody that likes sports. Anybody that was of a certain demographic. I remember when I was talking to him about leaving, I'm like, look, fellas, you lost the Big Ten, and I'm a white guy. What are you talking about? You think I don't know? No. I'm a white guy. I know the deal. We all know the deal. Middle-aged white guy, please. You can get to a certain level there at one point, but that level flattens out. I realized when Vitale and Billis were still stealing games from me 5 years or 7 years in, I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. Because they, according to the bosses, weren't 1/10 of the announcer that I was doing games. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't say it. They did. I knew it, of course, because I watched the games. But please, children, please. But anyway, go get them, Stephen A. Smith. Milk them for every dime they got. And remember, they got a lot of dimes. Just because they're not making as much as they used to, they're still making at ESPN, and they can pay you. Take them to the bank. Maria Taylor, when last seen, I guess she's on NBC, but she was secretly recording. That's the weirdness of ESPN, man. That's what happens when you hire idiots. Don't hire idiots. Speaking of idiots, man, oh man, Joe Biden in the news yesterday. Joe Biden challenged Donald Trump. He did. He challenged Donald Trump to a He challenged him to a golf game. Here it is, right here. Watch. Biden is going to challenge Trump to a golf game.
I'm also officially challenging Cricket Joe to an 18-hole golf match right here. Underal's Blue Monster, considered one of the greatest tournament golf courses anywhere in the world, one of the great courses of the world. It will be among the most watched sporting events in history, maybe bigger than the Ryder Cup or even the Masters. And I will even give Joe Biden 10 strokes aside. 10 strokes, that's a lot. That means 20 strokes in case you don't play golf. I will give him 10 strokes aside, and if he wins, I will give the charity of his choice, any charity that he wants, $1 million. And I'll bet you he doesn't take the offer.
I had it wrong. I thought we were showing, going back to the election, Biden challenging Trump, which he did during the election. So during the debate. So that was Trump last night, and he's right. He's not going to take the offer. Here was Biden's response to the offer from last night. And this is pretty funny. Donald Trump hasn't been seen in public for 12 days. So what? So what? Now he's inviting fictional serial killers to dinner, teasing little Marco Rubio, praising Project 2025 architect Tom Homan, and challenging the president of the United States to golf. Well, wait a second here. Biden challenged him. We challenged Donald Trump to create jobs, but he lost $3 million. Oh, please. Everybody knows that was COVID. We challenged Donald Trump to stand up to Putin, but he bent the knee to him. Really? Seems to me there were no wars when Trump was in office. Seems to me we've got a big war going on with Putin. Challenged Donald Trump to follow law, but he breaks it. Yes, everybody does. Challenged Donald Trump to not destroy our country, but that's all his Project 2025 aims to do. You can see what they're doing here. They're big into this 2024 thing. Not good for you. Joe Biden doesn't have time? Wait a second. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has been on Rehoboth Beach more than Joe Biden. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has taken more vacation time than Joe Biden. Some point today, can we get the picture of Joe Biden laying out on the beach? He doesn't have time for Donald Trump's weird antics. He's busy leading America and defending the free world. Donald Trump is a liar, a convict, and a fraud, only out for himself, par for the course. Wait a second. All that may be true. The last part, I don't know. Who cares? But don't act like this dude is Captain America. Don't act like this dude is so. Hey, he has to go to bed, Biden does, at 6 o'clock. I'm good from about 10 to 4. I'm going, what are you talking about? He doesn't have time. All the dude does is go on vacation. According to the Republican National Committee, 40% of his presidency has been out of office. Days spent on vacation, personal days, or regular days at one of his Delaware homes. What are you talking about? Doesn't have time? Of course he has time. 40% of his presidency has been on vacation. Now think about that just for a minute. If you got to have 40% of your job on vacation, hey, look, I would come, but I'm on vacation. Well, you're just on vacation. Yeah, I know. Honest to God. Biden heads to St. Croix. Biden heads, where's he heading here? To the Caribbean. Biden heads to Rehoboth Beach. What are you talking about? Can only lie so much. Simple golf game. You challenged Trump. So man the hell up. Play golf. We're trying to save the free world. What? Come on, dude. 40% of your time has been on vacation. Honest to God. I mean, let's just be honest. For one time in your life, you couldn't get out. Look at it. There he is. He don't have time, this guy. He does not have time. There you go. All right. What's he doing? Got his hat backwards, got his belly out. He don't have time. Been on Rehoboth Beach a lot. By the way, how'd you get so rich? Anybody asking this? How the hell did he get so rich? That dude is rich. You can't buy a house in Rehoboth Beach. Anyway, I don't get it. It's all starting to fall apart for Jersey Joe Biden, sniffing Joe Biden, crooked Joe Biden, whatever you want to call Joe Biden. The PAS is even getting undermined by his own people. Here's George Stephanopoulos getting caught on camera talking about Biden's ability to lead for 4 more years.
Hey, excuse me. Hey, how you doing? Good. What do you think? Do you think Biden should step down? You talked to him more than anybody else have lately, and you could be honest. You don't think he can serve 4 more years? All right, that's an answer.
Like, you know, that guy that filmed that's a piece of shit, too. I mean, people that walk around filming you can kiss my backside, but there's your answer. I mean, look, nobody, and I mean nobody, believes this guy. If you go back 4 years or 3.5 years to now and look at the decline, nobody believes at all that that guy can do any kind of job for 4 more years. In fact, nobody believes right now that he can do the job right now, even his own people. But, hey, he's got 2025, the initiative of 2025, Project 2025 in his pocket. He's got, hey, we created 3 million jobs. Really? Well, were they government jobs that were brought back? Well, of course they were. We got to follow the law, and he breaks it. Really? You just haven't been convicted. I mean, the funny thing about Biden is he was considered too senile to stand trial. Yeah, he broke the law, but he was too senile, and now he's playing the break the law card? Child, please. There's no weird antics here, as Biden said. Nothing at all. Biden challenged a man. And you know as men, we got to whip it out and measure it. You know we do. If we're not whipping it out and measuring it, what are we doing? You challenge, we respond. And Joe Biden, I've said this before and I'll say this again, is like every other little bully guy you met in college or you met in high school. Talk, hang out, act cool. He is exactly, if you ever seen the movie Good Will Hunting, Joe Biden is exactly the guy that, what's-his-face, Ben Affleck's buddy, whatever the hell his name is, destroyed in that bar. I mean, he is that hippie that tried to talk smart in front of Matt Damon in that bar in front of Minnie Driver. And Matt Damon just crushed his soul. The guy with the long hair trying to act big because he read some stuff is Joe Biden. Could not be more Joe Biden. We've all met him. We all know him. And frankly, Trump was right. Joe Biden would never agree to a thing like that. Joe Biden gets in the sand trap. You got to get one of those escalator chairs that go up the stairs with old people to get him out of a sand trap. Joe Biden's a coward. Joe Biden's a fraud. Joe Biden's the worst president of my lifetime. I stand by that proudly. Caitlin Clark plays at noon today. How about that? You're going to hear a bunch of screaming little girls. If you turn on NBA TV or if you turn on Channel 13, if you live here in Indianapolis, you're going to hear a bunch of screaming little girls. The noon game in Gainbridge Fieldhouse will be packed, and it will sound like a middle school recess room, and it's awesome. It is awesome. Caitlin Clark will put on a show. Caitlin Clark will continue to do what Caitlin Clark does. They're playing the Mystics, a bad team that only has 5 wins. And as you head into the Olympic break, you need some wins. You got to continue doing that. But Caitlin Clark has already been compared to the all-time greats. It's way too early. I get the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. I get the fact that Caitlin Clark has influenced damn near everything from European basketball to UFL ratings to anything in between. I do. I get it. But it's too early. Her career excellence is drawing comparisons to the all-time greats. 21-year veteran, 3-time MVP, and 3-time champ, Diana Taurasi. Now, according to Indiana Fever head coach, that's what's being talked about. I don't think you can do that yet. I think you have to say, hold on here. Woman's in her first year. Let's relax here a little bit. I mean, I get it. We're all prisoners of the moment, and Caitlin Clark is fantastic. And as Michael Thompson and I talked about yesterday, she plays a game that's different. I've talked about it forever. She's a combination, a dime store combination of Steph Curry and Pete Maravich. I get it. I do. I swear. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and compare it to the all-time greats. I'm always going to make a case for my players, Coach Side says. First and foremost, she is the most competitive human being I've ever met. I really compare her to Diana Taurasi. She's always looking to find ways to get better. How can I help the team? What can we do? But she just wants to win. She just wants to win. And to me, she's going to be my Rookie of the Year every day, every day. No, she's right. No, she's 100% right. I mean, I don't know if she's the most competitive. I mean, I've met so many competitive people that aren't in sports. Everybody in sports thinks that sports people are the most competitive people ever. Hey, hold on here a second. A businessman going out every day to try to find business, stop it. Farm getting knocked on their ass, stop it. For a hell of a lot less guaranteed money than what any woman basketball or men's basketball player is making. So just stop it with the most competitive. Coach Sides, if you think she's the most competitive person, you haven't hung out with very many people that are in the business community that have to bust their ass every day against sharks. Just saying. Problem is that here's the deep dive. Now, Angel Reese is a good player, and the sad thing is anytime you compare one with the other, the idiots say, well, you're hating. I've never seen Angel Reese get such hate. Now, let's dive into some facts here. Facts, I think, matter. Now, I understand facts and roads and marriage and exercise and being on time are racist. Hell, everything's racist. I get it, but these are some facts. Angel Reese's rebounds. Angel Reese's rebounds come on her own missed layup. In fact, Angel Reese makes, only 44% of layups. I mean, she is unskilled labor. She's big. She knows how to move it around, but she's unskilled labor. She's attempted 185 layups this season. 40 of them have been blocked. Why? Because she shoots down here. She's unskilled labor. I mean, but she's a good player. In that league, she's like everybody else, and we've said it time and time again. From the free throw line down, that's what the WNBA is. Or if they can click their heels and shoot threes, well, then they can make some threes. But really, in terms of dancing with the basketball, there's very few women that can do that. They can put their head down, drive, and shoot it from their hip like you do in 8th grade. And Angel Reese shoots and is very smart around the bucket. She can get the ball in around the bucket going to her right shoulder. And this isn't to disparage Angel Reese. This is just a fact. It's not a strong figure for someone who is often called one of the best post players in the league despite being a rookie. No, he's right. Reese's offensive efficiency doesn't paint a pretty picture for Angel Reese as well. She's shooting 42% from the field despite the fact that 85% of her shot attempts come from inside 8 feet. 18 of her made field goals have come from outside the restricted area. For comparison, Clark has made only 31 shots from inside the restricted area, with the majority of her shots coming from 20-plus feet away from the basket. And despite an average field goal depth being much farther from the basket, Clark is only slightly worse than Reese at converting shots, 39.3%, 41.8%. Pretty close. I mean, again, you're hating on Angel Reese, you're racist. Yeah, so is being on time, according to Duke's medical school. So shut up. The biggest difference between the two players is their efficient field goal percentage. Clark is over 50%. Reese is just 42. Yeah, look, they're both good players, but there's no comparison. One's leading the entire league in points produced. I mean, damn, that's pretty good. In some cases, that might get you, that might get you an MVP award. I'm going to go to Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy is the coach of Cowboy Nation. Mike Gundy famously, I'm a man, I'm 40. Mike Gundy sits on the mount. Mike Gundy's got Cowboy Nation under his thumb. Mike Gundy's been an okay coach. Never great, never bad, good. Mike Gundy's made a ton of money, and like most guys that have their little nation under them, he lives on the mount, he lives in the kingdom, and he is arrogant as hell about it. And one of the things I like about not doing games on Fox or not doing games in the Big Ten Network or not doing games for ESPN is I don't have to talk to arrogant, dumbass coaches that sit on the mount in charge of their nation. Yay, Wolverine Nation. Who's your nation? Yay, Rod, go fight, win. Mike Gundy's a dumbass for what he said about drinking and driving. Mike Gundy is not a dumbass for what he said about the modern athlete and how it's a business. It's a little bit twofold. Here's Mike Gundy on the punishment first. The punishment of a All-American running back, Ollie Gordon III, who was arrested last week for DUI. Here it is. He shoots down the severe punishment aspect of things. Here's Gundy on the punishment.
We're in a time where you guys are essentially employees. You guys make lots of money to play this game. It's different than it was 5 years ago. And your punishment's going to be facing the facts. That's why we brought him here today. I said, you're not going into hiding. You're going to face the music. You're going to have to stand up and talk to people and answer questions. And hopefully, more than football, you can learn from the situation you've been in. Because if not, then we have a real issue. But he's going to play, and I'm going to do what we think is best for Oklahoma State football, and I think it's best for Ollie to play. If there's any punishment, it's make him carry the ball 50 times in the first game.
Yeah, that's the modern way football is. That's the modern way basketball is. Look, in the NBA, you get in trouble. The coach says, call your agent, man. You go deal with the GM. You go deal with the agent. I'm going to move it along here. You know our rules. Let's go. Well, college football is the same thing, isn't it? College football, with these guys being paid, you're dumb enough to go get a DUI. Hey, man, you're a pro. What do you want me to do? I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? You know, all I'm saying is Mike Gundy's right about this. He's 100% right about this. Why are you disciplining people? Mike Gundy is paid to win football games. Mike Gundy is not paid to build men anymore. When all of the NIL stuff became pay for play, that went out the window. When coaches couldn't discipline players for doing stupid stuff, that went out the window. When academics were taken away and coaches can't discipline players for not going to class, missing tutors, that kind of thing, it all went away. Screw you, player. Hey, man, go over there. It's like when I got fired at Bowling Green. Actually, I left, but I'll just say for the sake of argument, when I left Bowling Green, about 2 o'clock in the morning, one of my former players, a little pain-in-the-ass walk-on, calls me, Coach, you got a DUI. I'm stopped here by the cops. Can you help me? I said, wait, were you at a party celebrating me no longer being the coach? Well yeah. Call the AD. Goodbye. And felt so good about it. That's the world of college football right now. And Mike Gundy's absolutely right. Why would you? I mean, why would you? But here's where he's wrong. Here's where Gundy, being the arrogant dumbass philosopher, I'm the great influencer, I'm an arrogant douchebag making a ton of money, college football coach comes out in this D-bag. Here is Mike Gundy on DUI.
So I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is .08, and Ollie was .1. So I looked it up. And it was based on body weight, not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life. And I, it's just fine. So I got lucky. People get lucky. Ollie made a decision that he wished he could have done better. But when I talked to Ollie, I told him, I said, you're lucky you got out light. Because you make a lot of money to play football.
Well, that's just stupid. I mean, as a coach, you got to think bigger than just kissing the ass of a player. Now you're telling kids, and you're telling parents, and you're telling everybody across the state of Oklahoma, look, I'm a drunk. I've done this 100 times, and maybe you have. Great, good for you. But you can't condone it, and that's exactly what Gundy did there because he's an arrogant, dumbass, mediocre football coach that's made a lot of money, got a lot of people that giggle at his jokes, got a lot of people that pat him on the back. Of course, he walked it back a bit, but so what? That's what you get. I get a kick out of these coaches. I coached for a long time. I've influenced more people on the radio or on TV than I ever did coaching, whether it's I don't know, no chewing tobacco, bikes programs, eating stuff. I mean, I've influenced people to diet that I never knew. I influenced, I've had a 20-year campaign against anti-smoking, or 15, however long I've been on the radio, anti-chewing tobacco. I chewed for a long time. So I get a kick out of these dumb-ass, arrogant, rich, pain-in-the-ass, mediocre coaches talking to their little nation and kissing the ass of a player. I mean, the bottom line is simple. We all know this. If Ollie Gordon was Ollie oxen free and he was third team, Gundy would make a big deal about it and get rid of him. I don't even mind the fact that he didn't get rid of him. I don't even give a damn if he disciplines him. But don't tell the entire state of Oklahoma that, you know what, I'm a drunk, I'm a dumbass, I did the same thing 3 or 4 times. Sure, it engages to your team, and that's what you're trying to do because you're such a pussy, Mike Gundy, that you can't go out there, figure it out, and think about the bigger issue. People that actually have respect for Oklahoma State football, which I do not. They're just a team that loses when the games get big and have a coach that's obviously a dick. But true story. But the fact of the matter is you have a bigger responsibility. You know, the Oklahoma coach, Venables, he's another one of those arrogant douchebags. But those two guys, I'm guessing, are the most popular, highly paid dudes in the state. And you have an obligation to others. You know, a little kid's like, hey, coach, you're drunk, huh? Hey, coach, you've driven drunk 100 times, huh? You got lucky. Man, hope I get lucky. It's just stupid. It's unnecessary. It's stupid. But I'm telling you, it is so typical of the arrogant, dumb-ass coach. It just is. It just absolutely is. So I got nothing for him. I don't care about Mike Gundy. This is the most I'll talk about Mike Gundy. It's the most I've ever talked about Mike Gundy, other than I'm a man, I'm 40. He's a dumbass at 50 or however old he is. He was a dumbass at 40. He keeps a job somehow. If I were the athletic director or I were the president, I'd be calling him in saying, look, you're going to go on a tour here. You're going to go on a tour talking to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, sad, mad, glad, all the different things. And you know what? You're lucky I don't fire your ass right now because let's be honest. I mean, if you fire Mike Gundy right now, what difference does it make to Oklahoma State other than they got to pay some money? It's just incredibly irresponsible, incredibly stupid, but it shows once again that college coaches are really, really arrogant. Really arrogant. And in most cases, really, really dumb. Speaking of dumb, Brett Favre is looking to renew and revise his defamation case against Shannon Sharpe. I'm good with it because I think Shannon Sharpe is a mumbling, stumbling moron. Favre lawyer Amit Vora told 3 Fifth U.S. Circuit Court Court of Appeal judges in New Orleans that the lawsuit should be revived, arguing that Sharpe accused Favre, who has not been charged with a crime, of theft. Sharpe said during a September 2022 broadcast of the Fox sports show Skip and Shannon Undisputed that Favre was taking from the underserved, that he stole money from people that really needed that money, and that someone would have to be a sorry person to steal from the lowest of the low. Said Vora, the actual defamation, because that reasonable listener is taking the word steal literally and not figuratively. Well, that's true. Sharpe attorney Joseph Terry told the judges that Sharpe's remarks were clearly an opinion offered when he was asked about a news report on the Mississippi welfare scandal and how the reports affect Favre's legacy. Yeah, I mean, good. Yeah, I don't know. That's great. No, seriously. I mean, look, if you want to sue Shannon Sharpe, I'm down to clown. I'm down with it. But if you don't, I don't care. I mean, look, Shannon Sharpe, mumbling, stumbling, I don't even know how he gets through a show other than yelling, screaming, and being an idiot. He should bend down and kiss the backside of Skip Bayless. He should continue to put his knee pads on around Stephen A. Smith. And, frankly, he should hope against hope that this lawsuit continues to go away. Because, frankly, sounds to me like they got a pretty good lawsuit. It seems to me that they got, and this is someone that's been through some of these things, they got a leg to stand on. Let's bring my boy Nick in here. Nick, you're younger than me. if you were on a team and you just got out of playing baseball a few years ago, if you were on a team and you saw what Gundy said, would you think, oh, man, Gundy's really stepping up for us, the team? Would you rally around him?
After which comments? The one on him getting his team, his player to do like
Both.
Getting the ball. Both. I would be all for getting his player right, no matter how, detrimental it might be to, whatever the situation is. If it's the drunk driving thing, I would keep my mouth shut and then I would walk away. That's not my business. That's got nothing to do with us. I would not rally around that. I would keep my distance as best as I can without actually having to put my other teammates at risk of something else. I'm all for getting a teammate right. I'm all for getting a teammate right, whatever that may be. If it helps him get better as a player on the field and off the field, totally okay with that. I've seen similar situations like that. Obviously not as extensive as drunk driving, but like there have been situations where some of my teammates have gotten in trouble and they've had to do hell week conditioning. And if that's the consequence that it takes, taking accountability, yeah, I'm all for it. But when your coach says something like that, it's just kind of like, I'm going to stay as far away from that as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think that's a good move, and I think Gundy should have stayed away from that as possibly can. But look, I get it. In the world that we live in, it's, we're going to be on to something tomorrow. Actually, we'll probably be on to something different in about 10 minutes. So I get it. Maybe I'm making too big a deal about it. But when I heard the first part, I was like, man, that's right. He's exactly right. Players being paid, hey, man, screw it. But then when I heard the second part, or whichever part was first, I'm like, well, that's just stupid. Seriously,
it's
that's
kind of like
stupid.
it's a complete give and a take. It's just like you did so good, saying, screw you, you messed up, you're gonna have to pay for it. Boom. And then you go out and you just completely dive back into it and you kind of dig yourself into a deeper hole. It's just like, well, what are you doing? What kind of example are you setting? I've done it 1,000 times. Just like, oh, if you've done it 1,000 times, like, why can't I do it 1,000 times? If I can get away with it,
that's right.
I could probably get away with it too.
That's right. That's right. No, that's exactly right. And it is a guy that is, he played quarterback there. People in the state know him about as well as they know anybody in that state. For him to say that is exactly what you said. Well, we can all get away with that. Let's try to get away with it instead of saying, it's just a rotten thing to do. I feel bad for the kid. This is what I'm doing for the kid. But, he's trying to get down and be cool and he's just stupid. Just so and I'm not even a prude anymore.
Coach.
No, right. That's exactly right. I used to be a prude. I'm not even a prude anymore about coaching stuff. I'm not even a little bit. But that was just stupid. And I've always thought he's just stupid. I'm sure he's brilliant. I'm sure he's the smartest guy alive. I'm sure he's all those things. He said, my intended point today at the Big 12 Media Day was that we are all guilty of making bad decisions. It was not a reference to something specific. What are you talking about? Bullshit.
Well, that's also stupid, too, because if he actually meant it, he would have said that exact quote yesterday. And he wouldn't have said, I've done it 1,000 times. Like, you were obviously talking about a drunk driving situation, and now you're like, oh, now I'm gotta circle back and kind of revise what I said as best as possible. It's like, if you truly meant it, you would have said that yesterday.
That's right. No, that's right. Yeah, I mean, what is that Biden-esque?